to record, and then I have it set up for automatic record, but I don't really think it does it right. So let me see. Did I just pop her in? I hope so. There she is. Good morning, Gina. Everybody welcome Gina Richmond to the group.
Welcome, Gina.
Welcome.
I'm sure you guys saw the Slack yesterday, but she came over yesterday from Castle Realty.
Yay.
Yeah. So
Hi, everyone. Sorry.
it was the hardest kept secret I think I've ever had to keep. All right, so we're going to review client presentations. We are on week 8 of our Ultimate Launch series. I hope you guys are excited as I am. If you came from another brokerage, mainly the ones we all know the ones that started as mom and pops. We got the green company, we've got the purple company, we got a couple others. Then you may have never heard about client presentations before, and I didn't either until I was well into my career. And when I found out about it, I'm like, holy hell, why haven't we been doing this all along? This would have made my life so much easier. So we're going to talk about it today. Realty One Group makes it really easy for you to do a client presentation for just about any occasion. Most of the time when we're using client presentations, we are using them when we're talking about sellers, and they are mutually beneficial. Some of the reasons why client presentations are important is first and foremost, first impressions matter. So in real estate, what do we talk about? We talk to our sellers and we're like, the very most important thing you can do for your home, for the actual structure of your home is what? Come on, holler it out, people, you know. Curb appeal, right? Curb appeal. The buyers that come up to your listing make up their mind whether they want to even walk into the place within 30 seconds. So curb appeal is very important. So the same is true when we're talking about our clients. First impressions matter. So what they think of you will be established within the first 15 to 30 seconds. So you want to make sure that you are well prepared and you professionally deliver a presentation that sets the tone for the rest of the appointment. Okay? Your client presentation helps you showcase your expertise. Another word for expertise is your unique value proposition, which we talk about all the time. Your unique value proposition. I know a lot of us have worked in the restaurant industry because, all great salespeople somehow just start out in the food service industry, whether that was waiting tables, being a bartender, being a hostess, whatever that is. When you go to a restaurant, the restaurant gives you a menu, and that menu details what the services are that are provided by that restaurant, usually in the form of dishes and cocktails and specials and desserts. We should be doing exactly the same thing for our clients. Here is our menu of services. Here is what I provide. This is why you should be doing business with me. So you want your client presentation to showcase your expertise and your value. It also gives you a personal connection. It allows you to brag a little bit about yourself, tell them a little bit about who you are, tell them, face to face what you have in common with that client. So these are just some of the reasons why having a client presentation is super important. So how do we prepare for the presentation? If this is your first Ultimate Launch, please, please, please come back. And do the sessions before this one, because all the things that we're going to be talking about that you need to put in your presentation are the foundation that we laid in weeks prior to this one. So agent information, current headshot, your agent logo, your value proposition, your agent bio. You guys have all done this if you've been here through all of the sessions, or you should have done this, although I'm not checking and grading homework. If you haven't done it, I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Go back and do these items. It's very important. You need it for this part. And then your market overview. What are your current market conditions in your primary market? You can go through and find those using an NAR RPR report. And again, that's something we go over on this training. So please come back if you missed that one. And I do believe we have an upcoming training on RPR in a couple weeks. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but we will go over that in way more detail. So if you're not strong on RPR, don't worry, we'll do it together. Your NAR RPR report will tell you a bunch of different things. So it's going to tell you the type of market climate, whether we're in a buyer's market, seller's market, balanced market. It's going to tell you the months of inventory we have available, list to sold price percentages, days on market, median sale price, so on and so forth. So this is all wonderful information that you can use to build your client presentation so that when you're talking to sellers in your market area, you are seen as the market expert. You have that information all down pat. It's super easy to get. It's part of your NAR membership, so there's no cost to get this data. Super, super, super easy. And it really puts you a step above other agents that you may be competing with for this particular listing. You also want to list your services. Again, going back to your value proposition. So what types of services do you provide as a convenience to the client? Those services can be anything. Maybe you help them with switching of their utilities. Maybe you help them orchestrate their dye test. You have calendar invites along the way. What is a convenience item? What types of service do you provide to your clients? So if you're listing their home for sale, what are your services? You have to think about what's your restaurant menu. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a home evaluation to discover the value of your home. I'm going to do a check sheet that tells you how I feel that you can improve the property to provide additional value or a higher offer for your property before we put it on the market. We're going to do another examination of the home to see if you have any HUD required repairs so that when buyers are coming in, they don't shy away from your home because maybe it will not fit into the FHA box. So we're going to take care of those items in advance. We're going to do professional photography, drone photography, videography, open houses, broker open houses, social media launches. Maybe you offer staged photos, either actual staging or virtual staging. Maybe you offer twilight photos. There's so many things that you can do, but it's super important that those are listed out so that one, you remember to tell them about it. And two, they can see it in writing that this is what you warranty and guarantee if they use you as their agent. Oops, sorry, somebody's trying to come in. All right. And what types of services provide the desired outcome for the client? If you have more than one niche, maybe you have different value propositions for different clients. So I know as an investment agent that also did retail listings from time to time, I had a set value proposition for my investors and I had a set value proposition for my retail clients. So they may not be the same. The outcome of those two services are not the same either. A lot of times investors are looking for a quick and an easy and a cash and an as-is sale, where a retail client is looking to get the most equity out of their home and working with the right client under the right circumstances. So what are your desired outcomes? So make sure that you have multiple ways to service multiple different types of clients. All right, so in your worksheet here, and if you, for those of you who are new, I'm going to send this out again. I send these out all the time in email, but I always try to send them out from time to time since we have some new people on the call. First thing you want to do is you want to build out your services to the buyer. Okay. And there's a list of different services to help you kind of think outside of the box when hitting all of these important items for your buyers. So first is going to be a service of convenience. Can anybody think off the top of their head of a service they provide to their buyer that makes their lives more convenient? Just holler it out. I know you guys know this. I'm going to start picking on Rebecca because she's sitting right behind me.
Would like setting up their search on the MLS so it sends it to them automatically when it comes on to the market.
Yep. Yep. That is, yep. Setting up an automatic MLS search for them. That's a service of convenience. What about a financial service? What's something we could do?
That we partner with?
Yep, you can help them get pre-approved with a local lender, somebody that has been vetted and that is trust. Service of communication. What do we do to help with their communication problems?
Sending them updates via email or text or sending them a phone call. I mean, asking them what they want what's best for communication with them.
Yep, that's great. So setting up communication styles that are most convenient to them. What about education?
Could you provide them like a presentation that kind of guides them through the process of buying, what the steps are? So like
Yeah.
when they actually purchase a home too, you're telling them what the next steps are, and whatever questions they have, you try to provide them the best answer.
Yep. So you can do that. You can do a presentation. A good example of the presentation is the home buyer's guide. I know I've shared that with a couple of you, but going on and editing the home buyer's guide that we have, and that's a really nice presentation that you should be giving out to just about every buyer you encounter. You could also do things like educational workshops, or maybe a first-time homebuyer's Facebook page where you're sharing details, a blog on your website. Those are all good examples of service of education, which I think is us realtors, we're really missing the boat on that. We tend to take the lowest hanging fruit and grab that first. But if you really want to build out a business that lasts a lifetime, the service of education, I think, is the one you should be focusing on the most. Service of representation. Can I get somebody to yell out, what's a service of representation? No, nobody. Think of representation as looking out for their best interest. So this could be that you're working with them as their exclusive buyer agent. You agree not to work as a dual agent. Representation, you're representing them through their entire home buying process. You're going to review all of their documents, make sure they have the inspections that they need to. And then the service of the desired outcome. So this is kind of like the warranty or the guarantee. How are we going to warranty or guarantee that they have whatever their desired outcome is? Maybe they're going to get into an FHA home and only put 3.5% down. Like, what's our guarantee? What's our motto for them? And that is more of a statement than it is a service. It's like our promise to them. So I challenge you to do this for a buyer. And here are some services to the buyer. I have a list of them here. So if you're not sure what your list of services that you should be incorporating into your value proposition should actually be, here are some things that I have put down that I've used along the way. You can use a couple of them. You can use all of them. You could use none of them at all and make your own. But these are some things that you should be working into your client presentation for a buyer, like a customized home portal search, the One app, guided neighborhood tours. Who here has ever done a guided neighborhood tour? Anybody? Those used to be real popular back in the day, where let's say there's an HOA or a specific area. It doesn't have to be an HOA, it doesn't have to be a community, but let's say that you have a buyer that's interested in living in Elwood City, but they don't want to live in downtown Elwood City. Well, a guided tour would be scheduling that initial appointment and taking them in your vehicle and taking them and saying, okay, why don't we look at the Elport area of Elwood City? Or why don't we look at the Ewing Park area of Elwood City? So I'm going to drive you through. I'm going to show you some of the side streets. I'm going to show you some of the amenities of living in this area. And like if you were going through Ewing Park, I would show them the park. I would show them the basketball court. I would show them the tennis courts. I would show them the swimming pool. I would take them past nearby restaurants and then take them through a little tour around the neighborhood. So those are neighborhood tours, which a lot of people don't do anymore. I highly recommend them. Community profiles. I have one on my website. I have community profiles on my website. So I can be seen as a community expert, educational workshops, so on and so forth. Now we talk about sellers. And sellers, for whatever reason, is way easier for us to come up with our unique value proposition and our list of services with sellers than it is with buyers, because a lot of buyers, their service is us. We have to create an action within ourselves to represent the buyer. So it's actually something that we're physically doing, where with the seller, it's less what we're physically doing and more of what we are arranging or more of what we are planning, right? So service of convenience. Who can tell me a seller's service of convenience? I'm going to start picking on people because everybody's quiet today. Anna, give me a service of convenience. What do you do for a seller that makes their life easier?
Hold on, I have to. So what I do for sellers,
That makes their life easier.
I'm available all the time. I answer any kind of questions that they have. I can find anything to fix. Basically everything that they need.
So I would call that as concierge service. Anna has concierge service, meaning that if they have a problem, they call her and she's able to provide the solution or execute the solution for them, right?
Yes.
What about a financial service to your sellers? Jim, give me a financial service you provide your sellers.
Well, it could be your commission. Like if you were going to cut your commission for whatever reason, as like maybe or without increasing the broker fee by like $200, you could couch it like, hey, I'm getting you a discounted broker fee, whether they know or not. Or it could be one that would benefit them financially, as far as negotiating sales price. I know going over the cost sheet before accepting an offer, and giving them the bottom line, what they're going to take home, is almost like a selling point. Like, hey, listen, this is the offer from this certain buyer, and this is what you stand to take home from the sale of your property or your home.
Yeah, no, knowing the cost. So that's a good one. I like that better than cutting your commission. Because you know me, I never cut commission. I don't want any of you guys to do it either. So knowing the cost, getting them the best price for their home, getting them knowing what their home is worth before putting it on the market. That's a service of financial measure. So I'm not going to go through all of these because we have a lot to go over and we have a meeting at 11 o'clock. So, but here are some services you can provide to your seller. Feel free to read that and then incorporate that with your marketing. This goes over your own value proposition. So you're going to take those lists and you're going to write out in words what your unique value proposition is to each one of your clients. Okay. So your buyer's presentation. Now you can find your buyer's presentation on One Design. So you're going to go into One Design, you're going to type in presentation and the document's going to come up. It is going to give you a good overview of some of the pages that you should be building out, but really you should be making this 100% your own. Whether you're using this for a buyer or you're using this for a seller, don't use just what is there. Those are just kind of placeholders and you're supposed to put your own spur, your own imagination into it. And we're going to do a further training in one of our mini sessions on how to edit that client presentation. So make sure that you check out those on Fridays. But really, your buyer's presentation should have an introduction about you, an initial consultation summary so that you're understanding the buyer's needs. It should have some market overviews, so current market conditions, maybe current interest rates, and step-by-step guide to the home buying process. So if any of you need that home buying presentation that we have pre-made, please just shoot me an email and ask for that. We will get you that over. It is completely customizable. So again, financing options, property tour process, commission and payment processes. So think of that when you're building this out. And the home buyer's book, lucky for you, has a lot of that information in there. But again, you just want to customize it and make it your own. On a seller's presentation, this is where we get into more of the what services we offer, like the photography, like super lock boxes and the signs and the guided tours and all the things. So we want to have our introduction in there. We want to have our initial consultation summary. We want to make sure that we have our market analysis and pricing strategy in there, and then our marketing plan. So think of this as steps to when you're sitting down with the seller doing your first listing consultation. You're going to do your introduction. And you're going to talk to them briefly about who you are and what you do. A lot of times this goes hand in hand with you seeing the home, walking through it. One of the things I always use at a seller's presentation is I will introduce myself, I will chit chat for about 5 minutes, and then I'll say, okay, step one is for us to view the home together. I'm going to ask you to do something that's going to push you out of your comfort level, Mr. Seller. As we go room to room, I want you to tell me one thing that you love about the property, one thing that you love so much that if you were going to buy the property again today, it would cause you to buy your own property. I also want you to tell me a second thing. I want you to tell me something negative about the room that we're in. And I want you to tell me, if you were going to buy the property again today, would this prevent you from buying the property? And then they always looked at you, they always kind of look at you kind of stunned. And I like that because it kind of knocks them out of themselves, right? And then I follow up with, the reason why I'm asking you this is because I need to see through the lens of a buyer. You live here, you know the house better than anybody else. And I see so many houses that unfortunately I tend to have a blind eye sometimes. So I need to see through the lens of a buyer. The one thing that you love about your property is going to be the one reason why it sells. However, the one reason that you hate about the property is probably going to be the reason why we lose a buyer. So it's important for me to be able to understand what those shortcomings are ahead of time and find a solution before the buyer shows up. Okay? So that's kind of how I do that. As we're going through, I try to understand what their goals are. So I want to know what their goals are. What's their motivation for selling? What's their time frame for selling? Everybody has a different reason. Then we sit down, we go over the market analysis and the pricing strategy for their property. And then I pull out my seller presentation, which is all about the customized marketing plan that is specific to me as an agent and reviews my list of services and my value proposition. Next, we'll go over some property preparation tips like staging, repairs, those types of things. There's always a little bit of information in there about legal and financial considerations, about like contracts, disclosures. Then the seller's estimated cost sheet we'll go over. And then we talk a little bit about the neighborhood and the market. And this is a step that's often missed. Not only should we be asking the seller about the wonderful things about their home, we need to know what's going on with the community. Tell me about the community. What happens here? What are special considerations here? How are the neighbors? You know, who lives in the community? I need to know all of the ins and outs about the house so that I can properly market it and get it sold. You should also have a list of frequently asked and common concerns in your seller presentation and an action plan, a call to action. I'm sure you guys have all heard that before. You need a call to action. That's where you say, okay, we're listing now, and you pull out your listing documents or whatever the case may be. All right, so all of that, sorry, I keep hitting the table. All of that can be done in your one design under client presentations. There's also a secondary option for your listing presentation, and that's in your one branding suite. So this is like the older one. It's up to you which one you use. They're both very good. But like I said, we will go over designing one together in our one listing presentation follow-up. All right, questions. Open it up. Anybody? Everybody's so quiet today. Everybody is so quiet today. Well,
I got a
let's.
question.
Yes, please.
This presentation, is this emailed to us?
Yes, they are emailed. Well, they're not emailed, but they're sent on to roguagent.com. So they'll be uploaded. And if you're connected properly, you should get an email notification that something's been uploaded.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so real quickly, since we have a few extra minutes, I'm just going to jump in here and search my presentation. I'm in one design right now. See if I can get it to pull up by searching it. I know I can. All right, so you have two different options in here. You have your one marketing proposal here, and this would be for your sellers, your listing presentation, and then you have your buyer presentation here. You also have this new one here, which is a 16-page booklet that you can use as well. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. You use the one that is best for you. All you do here is you go create design, and it's going to start pulling it up for you. Just beware that it may take a minute or two to load. It's a very large file. So if you see it loading and it seems like it's taken forever, don't fret. It's just going to depend on your internet connection speed and the speed of your overall computer. I've used it on 2 different computers, and the one's really slow. This one actually isn't too bad, but it will load. It's a total of 37 pages. You can make it shorter, you can make it longer, you can make it customized exactly the way that you want it to be.
Takes a while for downloading too.
Yeah, Rebecca said it takes a while to download as well. So it works like any other One Design presentation or any social media design that you're doing, but follow along in the guideline I gave you and just make sure that you're adding in all of those particulars. Like I said, it gives you a lot of pages in here that you can use as placeholders that you can customize for you. You can add photos where there aren't any. It really is fully customizable. And it gives you additional pages as templates at the very back too. So if you want to add additional pages or change pages, you can absolutely do that. One thing I love about the client presentation, more than just being a visual for your seller, because you're showing up, you're super prepared for the appointment. You know, not a lot of agents pull out their tablets or their laptops and give a presentation like this. So it really sets you a standard above. But for those of you who are new, or those of you who are maybe not new, but get nervous around talking in front of people who you don't know, this gives you a really good guide about what to say next. So it takes the guesswork out of it. So when you're doing your listing presentation, you're going through, this is where I would talk about One Tool Chest. We have a whole One Tool Chest designed to help our sellers get more exposure than anybody else in the market. We have One Design, which is our entire marketing suite. We use Boost by HomeSpotter to boost all of our social media ads and pages along with Google searches. List Hub ensures that your home is shown everywhere on the internet, whether it is on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, doesn't matter. It's going to be shown everywhere, so on and so forth. Then this is where you can say, you know, I would say I've been doing this for 17 years. Here are what some of my clients have to say. This is a little bit about me. Realty One is number one. We're the top 1% of the fastest growing franchises in America. We're a top national franchisor. We were just featured in Forbes magazine, blah, 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 blah. You can go into that. You can go through your similar listings or your recently sold listings. This is part of your portfolio we've talked about. This tells you features that sell a home. This is where we could talk about things like curb appeal, kitchens, bathrooms. We need to pay special attention to those to make sure those are the center focus of your home. They are going to make or break the sale of your property. And then it gives you a list for marketing strategies. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go through your home. We've gone through your home, and I'm going to tell you some things that we need to do and some repairs we need to make sure that your property sells. Before I leave today, we're going to discuss your home's value and what we feel your listing price should be on your property. Then when I leave here, I'm going to go and I'm going to identify who the active buyers are in this market and how we're going to market to that demographic specifically. I'm going to have a photographer come over and get some really high quality photos and drone photography, as well as also some video and virtual tours of your property. And then we're going to go ahead and send that out to local and national networks of over 20,000 professionals that we have in our Realty One Group family. We're going to go ahead and put this on the MLS, and we're going to use our proprietary tools to make sure that you're getting advanced international and internet exposure. And then we're going to start our enhanced marketing program, which includes all of the signage, and we start showing your home. So this can be custom designed to you. This is where you put in those services. So that's when you want to start putting in your services. This helps you talk to the seller about determining your price. What are the key factors of the price? Location, condition of property, economic trends, supply and demand. And then it's going to take them through the roadmap of getting their home listed on the market. And this can change too. All of this is customizable. So if you have different steps, change the steps. But I can promise you that this is going to be super, super important for you, for those of you who are on this call, who are new to your career or still shy about talking to sellers. Maybe you've been a buyer's agent, you want to become a listing agent. This is imperative. Those of you who have teams, there's a couple team leads on the call, and you're training your buyers and your buyer's agent and your listing agents. This is definitely something that you want to do with them, is have your own team listing presentation that states, this is what we do as a team. This is our list of services. This is invaluable to do, to gain that strength and to gain that confidence that you have flashcards. You know what comes next. So this is your menu. Like I said, we don't go to a restaurant, sit down, and they just bring us whatever they feel like it. We order from a menu. And this is your menu of services. So, all right. Any further questions before I let you guys go? No? All right. We have a meeting at 11 o'clock here in the office. So please pop in. We are having a taco bar. We have Tiara coming in to speak a little bit. We're setting some goals, and we're going to be going over some very important updates and changes. Today is also the day where you pick your new commission structure to start for February 1st. So please make every attempt to be here. I will have it open on the Google Meet so that you can listen along. But if you're able to get here, that's the best case scenario, because we'll have a lot of stuff written down and handed out. So, all right. Well, call me if you need me in the meantime, and I'll see you here in a little bit.
Thanks, Christina.
Uh-huh.